Number 15. Smash. Yet another reason not to answer your door to a stranger. Published to YouTube in May of 2016 by Ring, the Ring surveillance footage shows an aggressive man approach the front door of this California home. He stares right into the security camera, says hello, listens in with his ear to the system, but then immediately takes a step back and kicks hard at the door, trying to bust it open. The homeowner Andrew interacts with the stranger, telling him to leave his house or he'll call the police.
Hey! Stop
Are you
that.
okay?
Leave my house or I'm calling the police.
Okay, what you need to do...
Hey, leave my house. Stop now or I'm calling the police.
The stranger tries to take charge of the situation, saying what you need to do, before the homeowner interrupts him, rationally telling him he will call the authorities. The man strangely responds, "Why would you do that?" And the patient homeowner explains, "Because you're trying to push my door in." After telling him again to leave, the man says he'll smash what's in there. The homeowner simply states once again that he's calling the authorities.
Why would you tell me that?
Because you're trying to push my door in. Leave now.
I'm about to smash what's in there.
I'm calling the police.
Luckily, this one ended as well as can be expected. Andrew writes, "The police did respond within 5 minutes. I wasn't home at the time, but motion detection did alert me that someone was near my front door. It's videos like this one that will make you grateful not to have to encounter these outside people." Number 14. Figure encounter. If you're too afraid to even go outside, then you're much too afraid to be wandering through an abandoned asylum, but Lego Papa is going to take you there. Posted to YouTube in January of 2020, this man's terrifying figure encounter at the asylum is self-described as the best evidence he's ever found. The evidence occurs as they're wandering through the abandoned asylum. Over Lego's shoulder as he walks through a well-lit hallway, you can see in the distance a shadow cross over. Is this figure evidence enough to prove something paranormal is going on in this asylum? Could it be another explorer, as Lego and his crew saw and heard shouting in the asylum earlier? Or is it just a trick of the light? Number 13. Daring escape. Some people are taking advantage of the state of things right now, and some of those people are behind bars. In Washington state, 14 inmates managed to escape on the evening of March 23, 2020. They busted an open exterior fire door and scrambled. Although 8 of them were immediately taken back into custody and returned to their cells, 6 of them are still on the run. A passerby caught the escape on video as the men jumped the fence and can be seen racing across streets and cutting in front of people's cars. The escape directly followed an announcement that low-risk people behind bars would be released from some places due to the current situation across America. Either these inmates were not low risk or they didn't want to wait even a day longer for their release. Let's just hope their impatience catches up with them. Number 12. Strangers at the door. Strangers outside your door is very rarely a good thing, especially when they're these two fools. Ring posted this creepy video to Facebook in 2017. The video shows 2 strange men knocking on the front door of a home. The homeowner away at work is able to check in and see the men, whom she doesn't know. When they notice her security camera, the pair suspiciously bolt away. They return to their vehicle and back out of the drive only to, a minute later, return, open the door, and literally try to kick it in.
Hello?
The homeowner, seeing their arrival from afar, attempts to speak to them over the security system, informing them that the cops are on their way.
Cops are on their way.
After failing to kick the door in, the men return to their vehicle and hastily drive off again. Facebooker Stay Hodgkin notes that these 2 people wouldn't have been reprimanded for merely knocking, but then they decided to return when they knew a security camera was posted up and committed property damage. Not bright in the least. Ring relays a very satisfying conclusion to this video, writing, although Kay was at work when these two visitors came by, she was able to share her Ring video with her neighbors online and ultimately confirm their identities. The information was passed along to the police and they caught the guys. Now that's the perfect example of a neighborhood watch. Number 11. Watcher. 30-year-old Alexa was returning to her Bronx home in University Heights when she got that feeling in the pit of her stomach. She detailed what happened to her in a Twitter thread in September of 2018, noting that she wrote the thread to warn women in her neighborhood to be aware that this person is out there. Alexa said she was returning home by Uber at 3:50 a.m., heading to the lobby of her building, when she got a strange feeling that she wasn't alone, as she suspected, and the building security footage confirmed she wasn't. A man had followed her through the courtyard outside and quickened his pace to enter the lobby right behind her. Alexa notes in the thread that she didn't see or hear the man watching her. When she was in the lobby, she realized there was a figure hovering outside the front door, waiting in the first entryway. She decided to double check the door locked behind her. She turned to the door to shut and lock it and noticed he had his foot on the corner, ensuring the door didn't close after she entered. She notes that the man likely intended to confront her outside the building, which is why he didn't enter the lobby all the way, or he was waiting for her to head toward her apartment so he could run after her and force his way in. Don't worry, he didn't have a chance. Alexa shut the door, moving his foot out of the way to do so. Unfortunately, the suspect had a scarf wrapped around his face to ensure he wouldn't be identified by security cameras. She notes that drivers should always wait until their passengers reach their front doors safely. In her case, the Uber driver left when she got out of the vehicle. Alexa also remarks that, without the security footage to back her claim, her story would undoubtedly have been questioned and disbelieved. These stories should always be listened to and heard, and above all, as Alexa did, always trust your gut. Number 10. TV Santa Claus. Most of us want new gadgets and tech for Christmas, but this bizarre TV Santa Claus, as he's been named, only gifts vintage TVs, and a lot of them. Christmas came early last year in August of 2019 when residents of Henrico County, Virginia were visited by a man wearing a television on his head who left vintage TVs on their front porches. TV Santa Claus visited over 50 different homes, delivering these unwanted presents. Of course, it's no wonder that residents were baffled by this. They were even more baffled when surveillance footage from a Ring doorbell of the man was disclosed, revealing that he wore a jumpsuit and a television set on his head while pulling the prank. After depositing the gift, the man simply walks away. Although doing this is technically against the law, some residents found humor in it, with one neighbor, Jim Brooksbank, who received a 13-inch tube-style television, telling WTVR-TV he's committed to his trade. Others were a little annoyed by the prank, saying the TV Santa had way too much time on their hands. Authorities believe he was not targeting specific people and is mainly harmless. The strangest thing is that this isn't even the first time he has done this. The same event occurred in another Virginia county the previous August. I guess we will have to wait and see if this is an annual thing. Number 9. Getting away from it all. When you want to get away from it all and get back to nature, camping is an ideal way to self-isolate, but sometimes you're not alone. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by WillyComics64, the Redditor writes, I found this guy near my campsite, and I don't know who he is or where he came from. The clip shows a man lurking in the trees near Willy's campsite. He appears and then just as quickly vanishes. Well, some in the comments don't find this all that odd, as hiking is part of camping. Others think it's just a little weird that the stranger didn't introduce himself and just seemed to disappear in an instant. Willy explains in the comments that the situation freaked him out because no one was renting the site next to him, and he didn't see this man at any other campsite or on the trail that loops around the campground. Redditor Laura Malia 649 writes, and this is why I fear people when I camp more than the wildlife around me. Others think that the man acted very suspiciously. and hoped that the Redditor has something to protect himself with. Redditor Faker Hoach 10,000 suggests that perhaps the man was growing deep in the woods and just came out to look after his plants. Willie can only hope that these assessments are right, because if this man is anything other than a hiker, a camper, or a grower, then who knows what his intentions are. Number 8. Paranormal Scratches. Posted in March of 2020 by YouTuber Steve Ronin. He explores what he describes as an old church that's been around for 100 years, with power still on and with rumors of rituals still being performed there. Accompanied by paranormal investigator Andrew, Steve and his team set out to explore this temple, which Andrew claims holds dark rituals inside. It's no great surprise then that demons supposedly haunt the place. They arrive on the scene of a truly spooky abandoned place at night, a cemetery surrounding it, overgrown with foliage. Inside the place, there's a door that leads beneath it, which reminds Steve of an abandoned place he previously explored with a tomb below. Opening the door, there appears to be firewood and mason jars down there. As they continue to explore, in the temple, is that an overhanging light starts swinging. Supposedly no one touched it. They start to hear noises.
Yeah, you were with us.
Did you guys hear that clang?
Bro, hello? Did you guys hear that?
It was like a hoo.
A scream that sounds like a little girl. A sound from the light which Steve describes like a spine cracking.
What was that? Scream. That was like a little girl, bro.
Bro, the light's it's moving back again.
Well, it just went.
You didn't hear that?
Yeah, the light just went.
It sounded like a spine cracking.
They consider exploring the room below, but a load of spiders prevents them. As they continue around the temple, on the ground they find a pile of burnt books and some cards laid out. 666. Another 6 is placed above, though Steve is unsure what it all means. As Andrew is messing about with an AM/FM radio, Steve feels something on his back. He says he feels like there's a spider there. He removes his coat so that Andrew can check it out. There is no spider, but 2 red marks streak across his back. The pair of scratches run from top to bottom, as if he's been branded. Steve says it burns, and also denies having scratched it on anything. They wonder if it's a Trinity mark. Some in the comments of this video suggest that he accidentally scratched himself when climbing under the chapel. Others think that it looks like 2 lashes from a whip. Brooklyn Girl 230, however, offers advice. Those mysterious scratches are a warning to you to stay far away from these places. Seems like the smartest conclusion to draw here. Number 7. Big Gator. What is worse to encounter out of doors, human or beast? This scary video might have you leaning toward the latter. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, this everyday Godzilla will have you running for the hills. TikTok user SailX10 caught this big gator on film, seemingly while he was out fishing. A man tosses what appears to be fish to the gator, which leans its face from side to side to scarf them up in great big chomps. Some in the comments note that this man shouldn't have been feeding the wildlife in the first place, with Redditor Epic Username writing, "That gator behaved like he's used to being fed, unfortunately. Anyone visiting this little beach without being aware that there's a resident gator like this could be in for a real bad time." Very true, all the more reason to stay inside. Number 6. Grocery shopping. Things are getting nightmarish out there, and there's no greater proof than this video. This footage outside a Tesco in Essex in the United Kingdom shows just how scary things are becoming. A huge crowd is seen queuing outside the grocery store, with the line stretching the entire length of the store. Shoppers were posted out in front, since before the store opened at 9 a.m., Tesco had opened an hour early in order for National Health Service staff to shop. However, relegating the shop for health staff didn't stop other panicked shoppers from lining up in droves. Some health staff were even being turned away due to the mass turnout. If that isn't cruel and unjust, I don't know what is. Number 5. Levitation. Not many encounter ritualistic oddities when they leave their house, but that doesn't mean you never could. And what if you come across this one? Posted by Imperial Order 669 to the Chills Narrator subreddit. Found this weird ritual video, which shows someone levitating, doesn't have many views on YouTube. Originally posted by LASOURCE ENAMONT in January of 2020, this video is said to have been captured in Africa. It shows a gathering of men circled around, while this person appears to be levitating in the middle. It's unclear what this ritual is, or whether the levitation is real or fake. Regardless, pretty sure this isn't something you'd want to run into on your walkabout. Number 4. Objects in formation. Stay inside and they won't get you. Cross-posted by xChristina2000 to the Very Spooky Video subreddit. This unknown flying device formation was caught on film at 9:30 p.m. in Northern Ontario in August. Filmed by Striking Brother 7. The clip shows a set of 3 lights in triangular formation twinkling on the horizon. They appear always equidistant from each other, so it's not clear if the lights are entirely from one large spacecraft or 3 singular flying objects. They also don't appear to be moving very quickly, if at all. As the video ends, they start to twinkle off, disappearing. Any idea what this device might be? It certainly looks real to me, so let's hope one day this mystery can be solved. Number 3. Unknown flying device. Want to avoid being taken by extraterrestrials? Then your best measure is to stay inside, especially if you live in White Sands, New Mexico. This footage, posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by the 70s Kid, was originally captured in 1997 and posted to YouTube. In February of 2020, White Sands, New Mexico in and of itself is a strange landscape. This is due to the white gypsum crystals that don't melt or heat like sand, despite the temperatures in the sand dunes exceeding 100 degrees some days. According to Roadside America, you can go snowblind at White Sands if you visit on a sunny day without eye protection. The otherworldly nature of the 275 square miles of White Sands is compounded by its use as a testing range by the US government. Only a small portion of the gypsum dunes is open to tourists. Most of it is property of the US government and can be shut down when launches are underway. There are also warning signs throughout the park to abstain from picking up anything metallic. So all in all, White Sands is a mysterious place akin to Roswell, and this video just adds further to that mystery. The unknown flying device, which may very well be just another test, is a visible light source launching through the air, touching down and then bouncing back up into the air again, rising in an arch before returning to Earth, and then falling into a few dozen sparks in the foggy sky. What is this device? It doesn't really look like a test. In fact, it's shaped like a jellyfish and almost looks like something is hanging from it. Could it be supernatural? Or are we just witnessing another experiment? Not sure which is more terrifying. Number 2. Hanging on by a thread. Public transport is always a headache, even more so when this man is riding. In March of 2020, an MTA rider in New York City was caught hanging on the outside of a moving train. Video was taken of the commuter by other mask-wearing commuters inside. It's unclear why this commuter took this rash action. Posted by Progressive Action, an American social movement, MTA spokesman Tim Minton called the act unacceptable, adding, "This is ridiculously dangerous behavior at any time." According to NYPD, the incident occurred in the Bronx on the 2 train, and an investigation by the NYPD Transit Bureau was ongoing. Some say the passenger was attempting to avoid contact with other commuters by traveling outside the train. Others say this was just a foolhardily daredevil act. Whatever the case, who wants to deal with this heart-stopping behavior on top of everything else when taking public transport? I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not like this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds? Because we upload a new scary video every week. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1. Neighborhood Inferno. Imagine you're busy working when you decide to glance at your Ring doorbell security system, only to find flames unfolding right outside. Posted on Facebook by Ring Doorbell, the company notes that the homeowner, Matt, was at work when his doorbell alerted him. When he opened the app, he saw flames billowing from the apartment complex behind his house, about 200 yards away. He hurried home while it continued to spread, and when he arrived, he paid witness to the largest incident like this to ever hit Overland Park, Kansas. It occurred in March of 2017, began to brush up against his house as you can see in the video. I watched it the next few minutes and I saw flames hit my bushes and trees out front. Across the street, his neighbor's house was already up in flames, but thankfully only his furniture and deck took the brunt of it. A number of houses around the neighborhood weren't so lucky. The 4-story apartment building from which this originated was entirely destroyed. According to officials, the 8 alarm was an accidental ignition caused by welding. If this was waiting for you outside your door, would you go outside or would you lock the door and throw away the key? Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!